Edifier D32 versus JBL Authentics 300. And the real question is whether the JBL's higher price actually shows up in the room where you'll be listening. Both go for that retro look and both stream wirelessly. But paying more only makes sense if the extra volume and the voice assistance matter to you. And going cheaper isn't smart if you end up wishing it filled the room. By the end, you'll know which one fits you. Let's break it down. So how do these actually sound in a real room? Not in a spec sheet. The Edifier D32 runs a 2.1 setup with two 1-inch silk dome tweeters and a 4-inch mid-low driver pushing 60 watts total, and it goes down to 52 hertz. What that gets you is a clean, detailed sound with highs that people who own it keep praising. But the low end is where you have to be honest with yourself, because the recurring note from owners is that the beast can feel light. If you listen to a lot of hip-hop or electronic music, you'll notice it. The JBL Authentics 300, meanwhile, plays a different game. It has a 5.25-inch woofer, plus a down-firing 6.5-inch passive radiator, and 100 watts total against the Edifier 60. That's not just a louder speaker, that's a fuller one at normal listening levels, and buyers back that up constantly on the beast and the sheer size of the sound. The catch is placement. A few owners describe it going boomy in echoey rooms until they moved it off a corner and onto a solid surface. So where you put it matters more than with the Edifier. And here's one review about the JBL that lines up with everything else I see. Out of the box, it sounded a little flat to me, but once I equalized it, the thing came alive. It gets very bassy and punchy while staying clear, and it sounds bigger than you'd expect for its size. Neither one is a true stereo system, by the way. The D32's tweeters sit close together, and one owner pointed out you don't get much separation from that. The JBL is described the same way, more of a wide-sounding boombox than a proper stereo pair, though you can buy a second one and run them as a real stereo set, which owners who've done it say is worth it. That's the sound. Connectivity is where the Edifier gets more interesting than its price suggests. It has Bluetooth 5.3 with LDAC, which is a high-quality wireless codec for Android, up to 990 kilobits per second, plus AirPlay 2 over dual-band Wi-Fi and true high-res support at 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. It also holds two Bluetooth devices at once. If you mainly use an iPhone, that's a meaningful advantage. If you're Android or Windows only, one owner reported needing an Apple device just to get the Wi-Fi setup done, so keep that in mind. The JBL casts a wider net. You get AirPlay, Spotify Connect, Chromecast built in, and Alexa multi-room. So whatever your household streams from, it's covered. Setup gets described as painless. But connection stability is the one real complaint that follows this speaker around, with a chunk of owners hitting AirPlay dropouts or Alexa needing a repair. It's not everyone, and firmware updates over Wi-Fi have fixed it for some, but it comes up often enough that I wouldn't call it isolated. Which brings up the smart side, because that's a big chunk of what you're paying for with the JBL. It runs Google Assistant and Alexa at the same time on one speaker, which nobody else really does. The Edifier has no assistant at all. On apps, the JBL One app gets real praise, especially the 7-band EQ, and owners say it's what unlocks the speaker. The Edifier's Connex app is thinner, and one owner felt the EQ presets barely changed anything, though most people don't say that. Worth noting, the JBL also gives you physical bass and treble knobs on top, which is genuinely nice for quick adjustments. On inputs, the Edifier takes USB, C, and aux C. The JBL has aux and USB playback on the US version, so both work with a turntable or an old iPod. Battery is where the cheaper one wins outright. The D32 packs a 5,200 mAh battery rated for up to 11 hours, and it weighs about 3 kilos with a hidden handle in the back. The JBL is rated for 8 hours and weighs nearly 5 kilos with a cast aluminum handle. Owners call it movable rather than portable, and neither has any water or dust rating, so poolside and beach are off the table for both. On design, the Edifier's handmade wood cabinet reads warmer and takes up noticeably less shelf space, while the JBL's leather-like enclosure and Quadrex grille feel more substantial and more like a piece of furniture. So where does the money go? The JBL costs quite a bit more, and that buys you the extra output, the deeper bass, the dual voice assistance, the broader streaming support, and the heavier build. The Edifier costs a lot less and still gives you AirPlay 2, true high-res audio, LDAC, more battery, and a cabinet that looks the part while asking you to live with lighter bass and no assistance. Here's the call. For most people watching, I'd take the Edifier because it hands you AirPlay 2, real high-res streaming, longer runtime, and a cabinet you'll want on display, all while costing a lot less than the JBL. That said, if you want a single speaker that genuinely fills a big living room and hits hard on the low end, the bigger JBL earns the extra money. And if you run Alexa or Google around the house, the Edifier can't compete there because it has no assistant at all. But for a bedroom or an office, spending more is money wasted. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.